Give me the question. Who? Wait, yo, come here. Nah. Don't be an asshole. Real quick.
No, of course.
Like what Kayla just expressed was like that's just across the board across your relationships, and that's like I think that's the root of everything in terms of like people who try to pretend that they're in a monogamous polygamous relationship who really are monogamous. They just don't know how to control themselves, etc. It's like you lack trust and respect for anybody that you engage with, regardless of the level. And then, like I said, that could spread across friendships. If I start betraying my friends left and right, that's just across the board.
You just have bad, like...
Yeah, you just got bad energy. You got bad energy.
And I'll just also add to that. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Say your piece.
No, I was just saying, that comes down to it. It's like you just have bad energy because you'll have, say, we'll give an example. You'll have a man and a female who have been best friends forever and they love each other. They might love each other more than the people that they're in a partnership with, but they just never became sexual for whatever the fear is that might mess it up or whatever. But they'll ride for this person. And you got to understand, like, loyalty sometimes and some other things is so much more than love, so much more than sex. And you got to look at it that way.
That's true.
Elijah.
All right, for those of you in polyamorous relationships, right? How do you navigate boundaries with your partners? And what was the term for your partner's partners? Was it metamors?
Metamors.
How do you navigate? All right, so how do you navigate boundaries with your partners, and what level of involvement do you have with your partner's other relationships, and what does that look like?
I think it varies for everyone. Mm-hmm. So just the same way that no two monogamous relationships are going to be the same, no two poly or open relationships are going to be the same. What you end up doing is creating boundaries and structures that work for you and the person that you love. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very upfront. Like, I will set boundaries at the beginning, but if a relationship evolves and grows, those boundaries might evolve and grow.
What are your boundaries?
Sorry. Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Yes.
That's personal. Okay. What are my boundaries? So we have a 24-hour rule. So if my partner or I meet someone and interact with them in like a romantic or a sexual way, we have 24 hours to let the other person know. Right. And that takes a little bit of the pressure off, because if, for example, I go out with my girls and I meet somebody new, I'm in the moment, I'm talking to them, I'm engaging, I'm flirting. My partner is on my mind, of course. Like, my partner will be part of my thought process, but I don't necessarily want to pull myself away from this new experience to then be like, hey, like, I'm talking to someone new, just let you know. Communication is really big between us, so we love to have communication in place. But if he's out on a date, I don't expect him to be texting me. Like, focus on your date.
So when you go out, you're like, hey.
But so like if we fuck the next morning before 24 hours have passed, I expect to get a text message from him, or like I will send a text message just so you know, like X, Y, and Z. We have rules around protection and safe sex. We have rules around, not rules, but we have a weekly check-in where we sit down and discuss what's come up in our relationship over the week, what we need, what our goals are for each other. And so we also check in at that point, like, are you talking to anyone new? We just keep each other like updated on those things. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I get that. That is very healthy.
Those things are subject to change, right? Like, I'm at a place in my life right now, and he's at a place in his life right now. As we grow and evolve as people, I expect those to change. They already have shifted in some ways since the beginning of our relationship.
No, to say from my perspective is, so I have partners that are still around from 2019, right after my divorce. And I have people that I'm meeting in the past month that you have to understand that once you come into contact with someone, everything is individualistic between you and that person. What might bother one person might not bother another person. So the boundaries have to be spoken about openly on a one-on-one basis. And we have to speak now. Regular monogamous relationship, one person might see liking someone's picture on Instagram as cheating, right? Or, being extra flirty as cheating, and someone would be like, oh no, that doesn't bother me, but maybe meeting up with someone without me knowing, regardless if anything sexual happened, that could be cheating. Yeah. So you have to really be open. That comes back to self-love and seeing what are you comfortable with. And so a lot of us as human beings, I feel like if we don't go through it, we don't know if we can get through it. So until we are faced with an experience, because a lot of us say we're empathetic, but we actually lack the quality of what empathy is, and we neglect it and replace it as sympathy, and we're like, oh no, I can do this, and it's like, until you're faced with a problem, you really don't know if you can get through it, you don't know if you can handle it or any of those things. So when you get into a relationship, you have to understand base by base, and the more you're experienced with, the more it's like a list. The more you're able to add on to the questionnaire, like, okay, I went through this in my last relationship, it didn't work out, this might have been the thing that broke us up. Now my next relationship, I got to add that to the list. Are you okay with this? It's all a base by base scenario.
Very much so. And I
yes.
like that Kayla said you have to be explicit with it, because, right, like, if we're in a relationship and I'm like tapping on big booty bitches on Instagram, I'm just thinking they're big booty bitches, and
Yes,
Kayla's
I
like,
love big booty bitches.
No, you hate that.
Oh, I hate big booty bitches.
You hate
How
them.
dare you have a bigger booty than me?
But you have to be really explicit, because you don't know what someone was raised with, what they've experienced in their prior relationships, what they are looking for. So you cannot assume anything.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, we're so like, oh no, that doesn't bother me, so that might not bother my partner.
Right.
You can never move. You shouldn't move forward. You shouldn't move that way in a monogamous relationship. But polyamory, it's like, I feel like I'm coming across with people like, oh, I'm just gonna assume that it's this and this and that, and it's like, without having the actual conversation. And that's what so many beautiful connections are lost in like misunderstandings, and lost in like the misconnect of like one conversation you could have been able to say like, this is okay, this is not okay. And it sucks because it's like, even like friendships are broken down on like simple things like that sometimes. And so you just have to know yourself, be able to present who you are to the next person, and say, this is who I am, and I hope that you're able to communicate the same way to me.
Mm-hmm. I was just kind of wondering, like, well, I definitely want to open the conversation to everybody else, but like, you know, what do you? No, but like, what do you think people are genetically prone to? Like, do you think people are genetically prone to?
That depends. Oh, okay, think of it like this: a child who is born and an only child has only child syndrome. So for the rest of their life, sharing is going to be something that's hard for them. Okay? So if you have a middle child with like a bunch of siblings, sharing is not going to be hard for them. They're used to the fact that, you know, this is going to happen this way, this is going to happen this way, and yada, yada, yada. It's really about...
We have any only child people here? Your own child? Anyone? No?
I was the only child until I was about 10 or 11.
Okay.
That's a long time.
But I wanted to always share with folks because I was lonely.
That happens. So it depends on you. Some people are lonely and they take that, and some people are like, no, this is mine. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. I don't need none of y'all niggas. I don't care. But other people are like, no, please, I need.
But does like your sibling status, like, you know, really conflate to how you view romantically? Like,
everything. Whether we can acknowledging or not, everything in our past connects us to who we're going to be in our future. And who we're going to be in our future, we're always going to meet people, we're always going to connect with people. So it does matter. If you're able to understand, hindsight is the only vision that we're going to have that's going to be able to explain anything. No one knows what we've gone through except ourselves. And if you're able to... because I'm a Gemini, so I'll say this to this. I'm able to talk to all of myself and be like, listen, chick.
You said all yourselves?
All of myself, yes. Shut up. Right. I'm able to look back and see in the moments where I was the observer, when I was participating actively and doing something to either harm myself, harm another person, help someone, help myself. And so you have to understand that, again, it's the dynamic of who you are and who you interact with other people. Our relationship with our parents are the first relationships we have, and that dictates most of our relationships. So we'll have people who in a 2-parent household and that they were great, you know, I want the same thing my parents had. Or they were in a 2-parent household and they were terrible. I never want to be in a relationship again. And so it really depends on how much you've understood yourself and healed yourself to even connect with anybody, whether it's monogamous or polyamorous. It's how you connect with people. Can you connect? Do you have the capacity to connect with more people, or do you not have the capacity? You said, I don't have the energy to deal with more than one female. I need one, and that's it. And you said that. Me, I can slice myself up. You get a piece, you get a piece, you get a piece, because all of you need something different. And all of you have gone through a different experience, and all of you need a different way of healing and helping you grow and understanding life in a way that you understand that this is your world. And if you have the love to back you, to push you forward, I'm here for all of that.
That's what I appreciate about her.
And that's my best friend.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's my best friend.
You're welcome. It's nice to meet you, Isaiah.
You leaving? Oh, man, we appreciate you.
No.
But how there's like a bunch of different
kinds of polyamory. Like you notice earlier you said something about this is like messy, it's a lot, and you were like, well, there's a lot of different kinds. Just to add like clarity, like earlier you said you were solo poly, and there's different kinds of poly, like egalitarian poly, and like the triad that you mentioned earlier.
What's the egalitarian poly?
It's a rare Pokemon.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Shut up, Lamar.
It's kind of like when you're in a relationship, but everybody has the freedom to step out, but y'all are still together, kind of like. But
Ethical non-monogamy?
I'm not sure. I'm not as well versed in that. That's why
I'm gonna Google that, and then we can have a conversation later.
You guys practice like, I was like, hey, you give me
Yeah, do you mind explaining, breaking things down for us?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I mean, we can ask Google because I've never heard that word before.
For you specifically.
Are you poly as well?
Yeah. Do you mind explaining and breaking down?
I lean toward that, yeah.
You lean toward that? Well, why do you lean towards that? Can I have the microphone?
Why do I lean toward polyamory?
Yes.
No, that's part of it too.
Because it
I
feels
was married before and it didn't work out, and now here I am.
That's
Shout out Thomas Washington. Hey.
It's funny. I've actually had a good handful of relationships, and there were times where I approached.
Play.
What?
Sorry, I was complimenting you. I was excited. My man Lucci.
Okay.
He's foaming at the mouth real quick.
He gets it.
He's pansexual. I want his IG right now.
Let's go.
We're
Just
here.
like that.
So no, I've realized that. I mean, a lot of relationships I had before, because I was like that. One of my friends uses this term, serial monogamous.
Yeah.
He eats cereal while having sex with one woman. Terrible.
How many times have you fulfilled that fantasy?
That's not what that means.
I know. Honestly.
No, I just realized that I had approached relationships with ideas of what I thought I really wanted. But again, it goes back to conditioning, and then as I got older, I even tried it, but then insecurity stepped in and said, oh, you don't really want that. No. So it's like now I'm in a place in my life where that's where I'm at. It's not the absolute end all be all, but I most definitely lean toward that just because I'm a person, it's used to death, the term free spirit. Again, I think if people are open, honest, and safe, no miscommunication will be had, and everything that is wanted will be wanted. Everything that's not will not. And people do what they wish or don't. And, that's as simple as it is for me, as far as connections go. And it's like everyone was saying earlier, each individual connection, whether it's romantic, whether it's your parents, whether it's a stranger that that's homeless on the street, that's an individual connection that is uniquely that connection. And people that you're intimate with are no different. Yeah.
So.
I loved it.
I did want to add when we was talking about upbringing and stuff like that, when you was talking about how you see your parents in a certain type of household and that can affect you. Well, think about countries where they don't have the standard of monogamy. So they might have a polygamous one.
We have to understand that marriage, I'm sorry to cut you off, marriage, where we're at in the beginning, it was I'm going to sell you my daughter for your land or for your goat or for this or for that. And that's
we clearly
what marriage
don't do
was
that
set
anymore.
for. No, it's not.
We don't sell little girls to grown men anymore, or we're not supposed to.
For goats.
We're not supposed to. So the idea of marriage and how it comes about has evolved and shifted based off of society, right? And, in terms of being in America, our society has been primarily dominated by monogamous relationships for one reason or another. But then you start thinking about other countries who have deep rooted tribal traditions that stem back centuries. They might not have that same concept. It might be different. In some cases, it might be the same. But it's the environment that can help, or that is probably the first thing that starts to shape that. Because when we grow up, it's oh yeah, you're going to get you a little girlfriend, you're going to get you a little boyfriend, and y'all going to get married. That's it. But there's no talks about anything else. And then if anybody's been paying attention, Florida's gone off the rails when it comes to the idea of anything else beyond the traditional monogamous anything. They're banning speech about different types of sexuality, different types of relationship in schools. So now you have generations of people who might be interested who can't learn, and who
exposed.
Right.
They might not be exposed. Exactly. And I think that exposure.
It's like representation matters, and that's what it
Exactly.
comes down to. I guess the
doesn't have to
argument
be
right
taught
now,
in
what's going
school.
on with political speaking, they're trying to set a limit with what age is too early to start talking about these conversations.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's so individualistic. For me, to speak on just my experience, I was gay up until I got my period, and then I feel like the humanistic world, the humanistic instinct of procreating came in, and I was like, oh look, a man, you know? And so for a very long time, I wasn't even looking at men like that. The men that I were attracted to had long hair, very feminine features. They could have been passed as a female.
Caucasian?
No.
They're
But
black?
I'm Cape Verdean.
I don't know, but they.
She was just telling me she was white the other day, though.
Shit, that's not what the conversation was, G.
We're getting off track. Go, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering what the relevance was. Yeah. Let's bring it back.
I forgot now.
I was like, I like unmelanated men. And sorry.
That wasn't the conversation.
That's
no.
fucked up.
Okay.
Oh, but that's legit. Like, things change, and without the freedom to explore the possibilities.
You might not even know it's a possibility.
Yeah, exactly. You might not even know it exists. You don't know what you don't know, and I think that's where the biggest
says
fault.
that.
I think that's one of the biggest faults in society as a whole. But in terms of like what we're seeing with the pushback in Florida in particular, it's like, yo, they're willing to essentially let people stay ignorant for the sake of upholding what they deem as the societal norm. But it's only the societal norm because nothing else has been allowed to flourish.
That's true.
Not just that though, but it's stupid. They want to declare war on woke.
Oh my God, Republicans, that's an actual thing on the ballot.
It's
That doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make no fucking sense.
Please.
That is a whole
and then I'm gonna buy it
conversation
because
to
what
get
the
into.
fuck?
You don't want to get started.
That is a whole conversation to get
That is a
to. But no,
conversation.
he is right. And the unfortunate like aspect of being in America is that, you know, all of us have some aspect of us that is not deemed normal, whether it's because we're a person of color or we have a different sexual orientation or relationship style. They have managed to make these all political things. But these are very like societal human things, and there needs to be a distinction between, because when you make something political, it's like, oh yeah, we can vote on this. Yo, you can't vote on my existence.
So it makes it divisive.
Yeah. It inherently makes it divisive
But
because
that's how they break down the community. That's how they break down communities. They want us to fight against each other because if we are able to agree like that, they're done.
exactly.
That's as easy as it is.
That where we've come to is like we got a 2-party system, right? It is inherently a divisive system at this point because you're either this side or you're that side. And so when they start making things like women's reproductive rights a political thing, no, why is that? You don't get to vote.
They don't deserve them.
Yeah, you don't deserve them. Why is that a conversation? How can you vote on somebody's humanity and their being?
Well, you can flip a coin.
Yeah.
Cast your ballot.
Yeah. Exactly. You cast your ballot, but like realistically speaking, that's heinous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Because like essentially, that brings us back to slavery. Like, oh, are you a human or are you a three?
It's the relationship between people. It's the relationship between people. There's people who need to be in control, and there's people who just free flow, like, you know, it is what it is. But the people who need to be controlled, they'll try and to gather as many people on their side as they can to feel powerful over someone, and that's where it comes down to.
Yes, yo, absolutely.
And that's where it comes narcissist and codependent relationships,
say,
and that's a whole different conversation.
right there.
Finish up your idea about that.
Shit, I forgot where I was at, but yeah, like fundamentally, that is probably like one of the hugest problems when it comes to acceptance of other things, is because we get so stuck in like, oh, this is how I do it. This is for me, so it has to be for you. It's like,
and then the ego,
the level of individualism has like cascaded over to like affect your neighbor. It's like, no, bro. Like, what do you mean?
And you're a monogamous person, right?
Yeah, but I have friends who are polyamorous.
Well, that doesn't matter.
But
Like,
like,
we're getting back into, like, if we're down this conversation back,
yeah,
we're talking about like the alternative relationship style. What you call it? Why don't you, as an American, right? You're monogamous, and you have trouble like going with a different alternative type of like lifestyle, sexuality. Isn't that because America is about the individual? Like, you know, all these other countries, like I would say, like people who are Islamic, you know, they have things where like polygamy is in place, but that's how they're raised. But America, if you're trying to do a polygamous relationship with an American, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure because America is about the individual.
We still live in a world where people
culture.
are not comfortable with the fact that they might be gay. So we live in a world where people can't even accept that they love the same gender as themselves. So to even bring in the conversation that I love the same gender, and now I love two of the same genders, it's a leap that we haven't evolved enough yet. And America in itself, we're only 400 years old. To start at 2023 and not counting before, we're only at 400 compared to 2000 is not a lot. We're still evolving. We're still growing. We're all new. We're here trying to build a community, and we're still fighting a lot of the oppression that we're fighting. So it's hard to kind of like, we're in a world, all of us, most of here are black, besides you, I love you. But most of here are all African American or some sort.
Black by trade.
By trade.
You got in a black girl, right?
I appreciate you.
You had sex with a black girl? Yes, I'm sorry, it just makes sense.
Goodbye. End the podcast.
I love America, so fuck all that. I love America.
If you've been in black and you're black, you're fine.
I think there's a certain amount of slave masters that would that shouldn't count for them.
Hold on, did you guys see that show that Tessa Thompson was in, and there was like the white slave master, and he was there, and the black slave was like, get on your knees. He was like, yes, ma'am. He's like, do what I need you to do. And he was like, yes, ma'am. Did you guys see that or no?
Nah, but it's on my list.
I'm gonna show it to you.
X, we're gonna say.
You were talking about the individual, and earlier we were talking about the ego and stuff like this. I actually dated a poly girl for a short amount of time. I don't know if I want to.
That's why it was a short amount of time. It didn't work.
I mean, like,
Why you bragging?
How was the experience for you? Why did it not work out?
How short was that?
I don't want to go like too into detail. I don't know what to really call that experience, but like, we were doing a lot of talking, you know, because communication is, you know, where it's at. And
That's all you can do is talk.
And and one of the things that we kept on bringing up was the concept of ownership. Like, this is my partner. Like, you're mine, and I'm yours too, so it's fair, but you're mine. Like, this person is my person. Y'all go out in public, y'all hold each other. This is my person. Don't touch my person. This is mine. That ownership and how...
That monogamy.
Yeah, and how that we were talking about genetically predisposed to do something in a certain way. Like, you know, when we were back in caveman days, we were talking about caveman in the other podcast, but like when you like travel with a group of people, you were like hunters and gatherers and things like this. People used to do this a lot, especially when they were small groups. But when they got large enough, they decided we should probably settle down. And that's when people started to say, okay, this is my land. And then when you start to build things, make a tool like an axe or a spear or something, okay, this is my spear. When you, even today, when we go to school, this is my notebook, my pencil, these are my shoes, this is my thing, this is mine, that. Like, it's like ingrained in us almost to like have that ownership thing.
Yeah.
And,
This is my space.
this is my joint.
I would say that goes back to what you were saying about just being a very individualistic society, and like that has been cultivated for generations. It is. It ties into that. But like when you think about that, like where does that sense of ownership come from? It comes from the patriarchy. Like you literally own your wife because you bought her. I mean, back in
Hold on.
Black men were able to own anything and do anything. So when they come into a relationship as a woman, like, this is mine. You understand? I got so
Called it.
it's like, this is mine, you know. It's like, and we're in a world right now where in our history is like saying, and just in this 400 years, like I was saying, it's like you had to fight for what is yours. So it's like, why would I want to share anything else? So I feel like our ancestors lived through us, and we live some of their traumas now, and it's hard to break apart from that.
I have a question about, because earlier I mentioned something about how there's a bunch of different kinds of poly, different kinds of connections. Like, I have multiple people, but like she's just with me, or she has multiple people, and I'm with so and so. There's one of them is called Poly Network, where everybody's like with everybody. So like it depends on which.
I love that.
It's called being a slut.
Sounds fishy.
Sorry.
Ethical slut.
Ethical slut. Sorry.
There's a book. Everyone should read it.
That's
Go
a
Google it.
license to slut,
Sorry,
basically.
I fucked all your friends because I was networking.
That's a license. She got a license.
That's a biggie. Tough one.
I don't do family members.
Sorry, what was your question though?
Yes. Sorry.
How's that?
Damn, sorry.
What the hell did I say?
I don't even know, bro.
It happens.
Damn. Yeah, we're talking about
How Amber Rose got to the top.
Emerald.
That's tough. Kim. Shout out Kim.
Easy time.
It's about to go downhill.
That's what I was saying earlier, but like, yeah.
Use it a relationship.
Yeah, like there's different kinds of poly relationships and things like this, but
So you identify as
I'm poly
What?
like
What are
earlier
you?
I said
Yeah, what are you?
non-monogamous, right?
you're monogamous.
Non-monogamous.
You're non-monogamous.
But not too long ago,
Coming out of the closet sometimes. You have
poly,
to
bro?
understand
Yeah.
so I'm
But
like,
yeah, but it's a different type of like.
when doing this,
Coming out of the
when
closet.
doing research on this stuff, I discovered the poly solo stuff and how there's different kinds. But I really see myself in a transitional period because I was doing monogamy for a long time.
Well, help me figure this out, because I'm what is it called when you do one bitch?
Monogamous.
Monogamous. I'm sorry.
Don't say
Gay.
bitch.
One bitch.
I'm sorry.
That's my cousin.
I love her. But it was like, if you give me your elevator pitch, right? If you were giving me your elevator pitch of why I should be not monogamous, why should I entertain polyglamory or polygamy or whatever it is. Now, I'll tell you one thing. One woman's a lot to deal with. But why would you? How would you sell me on polygamy?
I wouldn't necessarily sell anybody on polygamy.
But why did you convert to it? Because you used to be polygamous. I mean, you used to be
Monogamous.
whatever.
Monogamous. Yeah, I see myself in the transitional period between monogamy and polygamy because, like I said, I've been doing monogamy for a while now and I don't really feel like it's working for me. And I say I'm in a transitional period now because I'm in a non-committal place, really. I'm really focused on building things and making things happen in my life because the way I see polygamy working, it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be a certain type of dude. So that's why I'm not really trying to get into a deep connection right now. That's why I consider myself non-monogamous or poly solo until I can.
Poly solo? That's a new
Solo
term.
poly.
Yeah,
Who's built for this?
My thing is,
you built for this?
I'm gonna say this. I'm a very confident person.
And I'm taking applications.
Okay.
Cheesy, you built for this?
I'm a very confident person,
Okay.
and my thing is this.
Little advertisement there.
I'm gonna tell you this as your best friend now for 8-9 months.
She's interacting.
You are a no. Shut up, Lamar, because I can talk to you too.
You got a big ego? Is that what you're saying?
He does no. There are some people who I can share. As a man, I'm a man. I can share my female with any female in here because you know what? I might get that female too. Mm-hmm. So it's a difference. So it's just I have to share with another man. Then it's I don't know if it's a pissing contest comes into play.
It ain't naturally that though.
What is it then?
For me, it's more just if I got this, I don't know why I have this story in my head that if I have this attachment with this female, it's like a story, you know what I mean? It's that.
Does Disney fuck up niggas too?
Disney fucked up niggas too.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with
shit.
that too. But I'm gonna say some real shit. If I have that pure connection with a female, bro, it's if I can feel that another nigga was inside of her. So you know what I mean?
You're spiritual, and that's a
You can
different
just feel the
conversation.
disrespect.
Yeah, that shit dead for me. My shit ain't even finna work no more.
Yeah.
I'm done.
These niggas be drying you out.
That's not science. That's not real.
No. I'll tell you. When you have sex is a spiritual connection. It's a cord connection. So someone who, I'll tell you this, for Gene, baby Gene is so spiritually woke. I will believe that he can sense the break in a connection if someone else was to enter his space.
So he was like, he goes inside you. He's like, oh man, three of my niggas been here.
The fact that you feel like you're a woman forging a connection with another woman breaks your connection. I feel like that's what I would want someone to examine, right? Yeah. I don't think that my relationship or I know that my connection is not lessened with my partner if I have sex with someone else. I know
that's ego.
I've felt his connection with me after he's had sex with other women. It does not break my connection with him. So it really depends on if you're confident in your connection. I feel like that's what I want people to examine. Men in particular, because there are so many men who will be like, I don't give a fuck if she has a girlfriend, but if another nigga puts his dick in her, it's a whole issue.
I'm looking at it like, yo, if this motherfucker have a baby with my baby mama,
you went back.
Wait,
I'm going crazy.
So that won't break your connection with him.
I ain't with it.
Okay.
I have a question also because
then we gotta talk about intimacy. What does intimacy entail? But go ahead.
I was talking about ownership and different ways of practicing poly and this and that. But like what you were talking about earlier, how you come up with a story, like that's like having a vision for what you want for your life and the type of person that you want to do it with.
You gotta find the person that fits that vision, though.
Exactly. You can't make everybody do that. Exactly. That's
I don't
a very
make nobody
part.
do it.
I mean, I'm here, but I'm just saying.
I'll say this: we're in a world now where before women didn't have an opportunity to have a vision. We're in a world now where we can have a vision, so we have a say. If we don't agree with you and we're coming across, we're not. Yes, it is masculine energy, but you have to believe. You already know we have both energies. We live in the world where men were in their space, women were in their space, and that's what it is. And someone said something about World War II, men came back, blah 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 blah. Somebody said that before on the break, and you have to understand we're in a world now. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. You can show up however the fuck you want to show up. You just have to find the community that accepts you and love you and move on with your life. That's where we're at this point.
I have a question about long-term vision though. Like when practicing polyamory, like what is the long-term goal necessarily? And let's say you and one of your partners get into like business.
That's what it is. And America killing those leaders now.
And this, and say one of your partners want to get married. Like, how does the paperwork work? Like in that way, or like land ownership, whose name does it go under? Type shit. Like if you're trying to like build with a tribe of people and make things happen. Like how does that work long term as a poly? Whatever people associate with poly-egalitarian, poly-triad, poly this, poly that, whichever one you fit into, like how does that work long term basically?
It's really going to be different for each relationship, right? Because if A and B are in a relationship and B is also seeing someone else, like that person may not have the same vision for their future, right? It depends on the vision between the two of you and how you can work it out, as well as how that connects to everyone else that you are engaging with. They're starting to, I believe they actually passed laws in Massachusetts making one of the towns in Massachusetts, you can have a polyamorous marriage, so you can put multiple names on the marriage certificate. Yeah.
I love that.
It's not going to work out.
It's good to know.
I'm just on spot.
But I mean, so if you're in a close relationship with two other people, I think you sort of envision yourself as like a polygamy, like you want two women who tend to just fuck with you, right?
Like three, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
like three.
But like, yeah, I mean, if y'all are moving as a household, then you're moving as a household. If y'all live together and you split bills or you do whatever, you provide, I don't know, then y'all are moving as a household in a group of one. If you and one other person are also, entertaining casual things outside of your relationship, then that's between you and your person. So I think it really has to be individualized to each relationship in terms of long-term vision.
Anything at the end of the day.
Yeah,
monogamous or polyamorous.
Yeah, because yeah.
No. I definitely want to continue this conversation, but we only have so much limited time. To anyone who's want to wrap us up about, I still believe. I hate to say it, but I still think that like monogamous relationships are better than polyamorous ones.
Better is crazy.
Better is crazy. It is crazy. And I recognize that because I'm super biased.
That's what it is. You got to make your own choice.
But I was thinking that like also through like numerically, like if we're talking about statistics, like who's it usually?
Oh, it's most successful. You mean?
But also, like I'm trying to.
Because right, exactly.
But that's not.
If you're citing sources, cite some fucking sources.
That's a fact.
No. But I don't have any sources. Like I'm just saying, like how I feel.
Get Mikey on the mic. Mikey, get Mikey on the mic.
Mikey.
So you can't
Mikey,
say
come
that's the
on,
most
come on
successful
here, bro.
relationship in a way.
Yes.
Come on, Daddy.
You guys said so much. My gosh, it's like you sit back there and you don't even know where to come in and ask a question because y'all, this is like such a deep topic, man.
Deep.
So
It is.
one thing you said was, hold on, sex is spiritual, right? Someone said sex was spiritual.
I didn't say that.
Somebody said, right? Sex was spiritual.
Who said that? Was it you?
I
said
think so too.
Sex can be spiritual,
Sex
but
is
like
very spiritual.
when I think about stuff like that, I say there's just so many angles because we were talking back there. We said, well, how can you be in this poly relationship and be celibate and still show spirituality without the sex? Is that a possibility? That's
Yes.
part one, right? Okay.
Yes.
Right? It's possible, right?
Even in monogamy, you can want to connect with someone so deep. Before I give you my body, before I let you enter into my aura, into myself, you gotta love me.
Well, nobody forever. Just say, I'm gonna be with you spiritually,
That's
no sex.
called
celibate.
aromantic relationships, and yeah, it's asexual. Sorry, I'm
Okay,
lying.
it is
Thank you.
asexual. It's
But yeah,
asexual.
asexual. Like
Right.
you build on the romance and the intimacy, but sex is not a part of it. I've been in one of those.
Gotcha. And then to cheese.
Yeah, you want to say cheese?
Cheese.
Call me cheese.
Cheese.
my G.
So when he's talking about he doesn't want to know that somebody else penetrated his girl.
It's not that I don't want to know.
Not. It's just
He doesn't
so.
want that situation.
So the I think about somebody stabbing somebody else, right? There's someone who's doing the penetration and someone who's taking the penetration. Those are two different things.
Like they don't got a little pee hole. Like
No, I'm just saying. What I understand is
Your body reacts. I'm sorry.
if I'm penetrated, if someone penetrated me, I'm gonna feel different than me penetrating somebody else. I think that women or whoever the good Lord decided to give a vagina, he wanted that person to be penetrated. And whoever he gave the sword, he wanted that person to do the penetration. And that's literally how.
I got a strap and it's in my bag right now.
What do you mean? Like, what about how are gay men supposed to
No,
have sex?
that's all.
Don't show him. Don't show him.
That's
Sit
what I'm
your
saying.
ass
That's what I'm
down.
saying. That's
Sit your
just
ass
my
the fuck
conceptual
down.
thought. That's just my conceptual thought. It's not something where I'm trying
I'm
to
gonna
tell
say
you.
this, bro.
I'm glad I got
Yo,
my drink.
female's body, interact to another male's body, in different ways, like
Yeah.
with emotional imbalances, by like
Man,
all kind of stuff.
Women go
If
through
we
the
want
most
all kind of stuff. So
intense.
spermicides can actually affect a female's vagina in different ways.
Yeah.
It can, not only spiritually, but like, physically,
Yeah.
hormonally, in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I can feel that also.
if we want to get spirituality is more scientific than we think. Like
It
everything
is.
in energies, and energies move
Vibration.
on a polarity, which is positive and negative energy. Like the male, our
So there's duality,
truth plus
positive
faith
and negative.
equals
Exactly.
God.
Right, too.
Our sex
Duality.
organ, it comes out.
Yeah.
Their sex organ, it goes in.
Exactly.
Just like when you plug something into a socket,
Yeah.
energy can flow.
Yeah.
So the way we give and receive energy sexually is different if we want to get
And
spiritual.
real quick, can I
need
add to
to-
that socket theory? Okay, electricity can only output so much. You get a 220 volt, you get a 110 volt, you can overpower the system with all your penetration. You put all this penetration into a system, the system
Wait,
has
I think we need to bring science back into this because there's literal science behind
We're
how
talking about science
vaginas
right now.
work,
I'm
right?
just, yeah, I'm
We're talking
trying
about
to
science right now.
This is a,
Like,
this is a
it
forum to
expands
open
and
that up.
contracts,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Like,
true.
I'm so sorry. You hate
He
pussy?
is wow. He always just say
Every
the
month
wildest
we get a
shit.
new one. You guys walk around
Todd
with the
say
same
the
stick for your
darndest
whole life.
things.
Every month we get a new one.
Absolutely, and that hurts.
Y'all
but it
definitely get a
hurts.
new one.
That-
I
the pro-
appreciate that.
The process
Y'all
of
definitely
you
get a new
getting
one.
there is
That's why y'all
painful.
got it.
Software
Sometimes some people
Y'all the closest
some,
thing to
some
God,
people have
believe
to deal
that.
with pain. Some people
black
also
woman
have
is
to
the
deal with
closest
mental
thing to
stress
God.
when it
Remember
starts
that.
to happen. You know, so it's a different world. Men never have to understand what it feels like once a month to feel pain pain and suffering. We don't understand.
We do. Yes,
we
we
also
do.
don't understand what it feels like to put a body on this
We
earth.
do, 'cause we
will never understand that. And sure, they're making technology to allow a man to understand and for the first time feel that. But the esoteric idea of a woman is going to make the community and the man is going to be out there to defend that community. The man's going to be there to defend the community that the woman has made. That is the goal. That is the purpose. Now, if you feel like it's possible for you to be with several men and all of y'all want to have multiple babies, then guess what? Y'all about to have an amazing community. I hope that the minds are in sync. I hope that the spirituality is there. Because, I mean, even when Abraham couldn't have his wife couldn't have a baby, so I think it was him who got drunk and then he had to have sex with I think one of his daughters or something like that.
That's wild.
With his slave.
That's wild because don't say that because I just found out that Abraham Lincoln was black.
Exactly. But he wanted community. The whole goal was to build a community. The whole purpose is to build life. So when I think about things like this, the only thing I care about is where is life? Where's community? How can we create positivity in this world? Now, you know, and yeah.
So that's my bit. I seen the bigger.
I'm fucked up. Don't listen to me.
Show and tell boss. Show and tell boss after dark. It's been our this has been our alternative relationship.
Get together. He's so horny right now. All the blood is rushing to his dick. All the blood is rushing to his dick right now.
Even talking about it is exhausting. It can get really exhausting because it's intense.
It's all right. That's all right. Get yourself together, brother. We here with you.
Show and tell boss after dark. This has been our alternative relationship conversation, and that's a wrap.
Daddy.
This man, wow.
We're good? You guys say, hey, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
No, say, hey, we're rolling, we're good.
I honestly don't know. I only know one moon, and that's just the one moon that God created, and that's it, bro.
So what is your horoscope? What is your sign?
He's a Gemini. Wait 1 second. Show and tell Boston after dark. I'm sorry, can I get everybody to give you your drops? You said November.
I'm ex to God.
Yo, one mic.
I don't know if you want to go first, but I'm ex to God. My joint is what's it called? It's at XDA God. XDA God. It's my motherfucking gram, and I make music, man. I got some fire shit coming out, and yeah, check me out, man. Word.
My name is Lucci, and I'm at Sicily 5703. It's SICILY 5703, and Art Without Ego. It's art.without.ego. Thank you.
On Spotify.
Yeah, yeah, on Spotify too.
Hey.
My name is Gene. My Instagram handle is the God Cheesy, DAGAWD_ cheese with the E before the Y. That's how I ain't say it like that last time, but I said it like that this time.
Hey man, that shit cheesy.
Not enough pee.
Okay.
You Pokemon.
Yeah. I got you.
Sorry. Yeah, my name is God Kage, God Kage, the last male sex symbol. And hit me up in the DMs for that OnlyFans content. And yeah.
My name is Kayla Monet, KEILLA. You can find me at KEILAA_Monet. Yes, and then all my other bios you will find there. My media page is ica.mo.vanity. And my chakra healing sensual page is sensually.me, and my EI. You can find it also in my bio. I'm a big healer. I'm open to talking discussions, helping people transition through their lives and realignment and getting going and getting forward and figure out who do you want to be, who you are, and all those in between. And I love to connect with the rest of you guys. Let's go. Let's make a new world, and understanding that we all can create them and manifest the world that we want to live in. We don't have to follow rules of the society. We don't have to follow our parents' life. We can create whatever the fuck we want, as long as we're living in the bounds of not hurting other people.
Mm-hmm. I cannot compete with that.
No, girl.
My name is August, and my Insta is _broke_auntie, because I am the broke auntie.
I'm an uncle. I need to be able to talk. I'm an uncle. Oh, no. A soft daddy.
Soft daddy.
Soft daddy.
My name is Dante, aka Art is My Voice. You can find me at Art is My Voice on anything.
What it do, y'all? It's your boy Most Generous. You can find me on my music on all platforms at MOS_GENEROUS. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's _the Most Generous.
Show us up Boston After Dark. This is a part 1 of a larger conversation, and that's a wrap.
Tip your bartender. Oh,